child. So if a man is having sex with a man, guess what's not happening? You're not procreating. If a woman has sex with a woman, you're not procreating. Right. So guess what? That means our numbers are gonna go down.
Talking about real love. Someone who can put his life down on the line so you can live, man. Keep going.
First, I do not frustrate the grace of God. I do not frustrate the grace of God.
I do not what?
I do not fake the grace of God.
We don't fake the grace of God, man. We don't take. We are we are going to serve God, and today we die because we stay ready. And if we stay ready, we're going to get the kingdom of heaven. We're going to get the kingdom of heaven. There's nothing when you come and serve God. Don't be patient to come and serve God. And in your grace, don't frustrate it.
The nations who oppressed you, who stole your land, who took your identity, who gave you bywords, you understand? If you join them, you're going to be destroyed with them. But if you turn to the Most High and keep His laws, statutes, and commandments, you're going to live in that terrible day when Christ returns. What did the Most High say? Read.
I will bring plagues.
He said I might bring.
I will bring.
I could bring.
I will bring.
I will bring. Read.
Plagues upon the world.
I'm going to bring what? What?
Plagues.
The Most High is going to bring plagues. And one of those plagues is known as the coronavirus, man. And you're afraid, Donald Trump said, of an invisible enemy. Listen, there's going to be more plagues. The coronavirus ain't nothing compared to what the Most High got in store for the unfaithful and the wicked and the evil of this earth, man.
That's right. 12. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood.
Woe to him, which means destruction to him who built a town on blood. How in the hell you think you can build something on blood and everything is going to be all right? You know, in the world, they got something that's called karma. But in the Bible, it's called you reap what you sow.
That's right.
You reap what you sow. And what you see right now is a white man reaping what he has sown in this earth, man. That's what he has sown. Bloodshed.
You were sadly mistaken, man.
Right.
This is the death of America. That's what this place is. The fall of Babylon. We have a song in our organization we like to sing. It goes something like this, right? Babylon is falling. So rise no more. Rise no more.
You in the crib, but the boy outside. I get it on outside. From the ducks to the lawn outside. So when I'm on outside, I'm catching they drawn outside. Cause it's a war outside. My sword drawn outside. This Excalibur, you better be all outside. Cause it's a war outside. I get it on outside. You in the crib, but the boy outside. I get it on outside. And that's a definite. Can't even ball right. I'm like King Kong with the prevalence. I'll show you exactly what we do. That's how I represent. Hardcore, heaven sent, chain on, hella bent. Throwing all black when they spot me leopard print. Oh, I got the braids in, shades on, made men. Cause we put in work to stop the earth until they change. Walk strong, talk my own. You rock solid when we bout to leave the sword, the stone. Nigga, we warriors. Hardcore, tracking the pride. To let the Hebrew speak, nigga, general eyes. And we talking super heavy, nigga, that's the surprise. With all scripture, street talk, word to Captain the God. Nigga, we blazing, ripping the mic with all facts. Doing the knowledge to the max till we cracking the pavement. UPK, out of one West Harlem, nigga. We spring forward and they falling like it's hard.
I can shake your hand. I can respect you. You understand? I can respect you. You understand?
They killed, give me Isaiah 14 and 21. They did the same thing to my people. So you said that they put millions of my people. Should a murderer go to jail for murdering? Absolutely. Should a thief go to jail when he steals? Absolutely. Should a robber pay back the money he robbed? Absolutely. So why shouldn't the white man pay for what he did? That's right. That's right.
One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. Dog, it's a dog. Payback is a dog. Dog, it's a dog. Payback is a dog. Dog, it's a dog. Payback is a dog. Dog, it's a dog.
I'm in a hell of a hole, was never expected to grow. Just obstacles set in the road, that a result of me selling my soul. The story I'm telling is cold, but yet it's what everyone knows. The white man's the devil is known. America was never a home, only a place of captivity, safe facility, hating, disfigure me. They claim that I'm lazy, be killing me. Maybe the slavery draining my energy. 400 years and counting, the trail of my tears is countless. Main fact that I'm here is astounding, but I can't wait till this shit is surrounded. Ready to tangle my king and the angel, be ready to rap. Crack in the sky, nuclear missiles and make it official. I'm capturing every crack and surviving. Put them all in chains where they need to be, slavery for me. And let the whole world see that with them in the cage and safer in the streets. Put the dog on a leash, get resolved for the beast. 144, get the ruler show, we could all be at peace. As soon as the trumpets are sound, your kingdom we busting it down. The only way justice is found, the time for your judgment is now.
You'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. Dog, it's a dog. Payback is a dog. Dog, it's a dog. Payback is a dog. Dog, it's a dog. Payback is a dog. Dog, it's a dog.
Look, ain't no remorse in my blood slim. It won't be no compromise. Now it's time to feed the worms. Watch his body turn to flies. I clutch iron while you trust the lies. The next Glock I buy gon' be Gen 5. I get it customized. And sending shots off like farewell. Praying payback come back around like a carousel. Still remember your Honda's words ringing in my head like bells. Said you in this body, you fit the Lord, fuck the cartel. Triangle choke, apply pressure to the game like I did Vondale. Payback's a bitch in a dress, she a bombshell. Revenge is dish served cold, I just hope they making oxtail. Glock fresh out the box, I swear it got that new car smell. Made myself a target in a world of mad shooters. There was design 5 for our babies to pass through. In the day of our king's reign, I'll be overzealous. They bought my jealous, I bought brand new parabellums.
Someday you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. Dog, it's a dog. Payback is a dog. Dog, it's a dog. Payback is a dog. Dog, it's a dog.
Payback is a dog. Payback is a dog, but we won't get our big payday if we keep trying to join America and we keep trying to love our oppressors. This is Precinct Officer Tawaga Bar. This is the Law and History class. Let's clap it up. Let's clap it up. We're going to get it in. Everybody was late today, but we're going to get it in, right? So the big discussion right now is, of course, we just had Martin Luther King Day. And Black people still celebrate, Black people still revere Martin Luther King as being, you know, the ultimate Black person and reaching the pinnacle of what you should be as a Black person. And the things that he did were things that Black people before him had never accomplished. Now, we all done grew up in school. I grew up in school, Black History Month. I don't know. I don't know if we celebrated his birthday like that. But I know back then, but I know Black History Month, it was the same set of black people that you hear about. You hear about Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, Harriet Tubman. What'd you say, brother? Malcolm. Well, not Malcolm X. Malcolm X ain't one of those people that's on that list. He ain't one of those people that the white man approves to say be like him. Martin Luther King was a token. He was a token black man, and he said one day. Matter of fact, I gotta get it. I should have had it queued up, but we all know the speech. We know the speech like the back of our hand. I have a dream. I have a dream that one day little black boys and little white girls will hold hands in the spirit of brotherhood. Right? That's what he wanted. He wanted for us at a time when America was showing black people that they hated them. This was during the time of what they call Jim Crow. Now, if you don't know what Jim Crow is, Jim Crow was the laws. It was a name for laws. Jim Crow was actually also back in the day was a character, a minstrel show character, where you know how the white people put on the blackface and they dance and they shuck and jive and make fun of black people. That was a form of comedy way back in the days, right? Like in the 1920s, early 1900s. That was a form of comedy. But then the laws where they had white faucet, black faucet. You can't come into these restaurants. You can't go to the white laundromat. Those was called Jim Crow laws. And during the time when Martin Luther King was doing the marches and he was walking and they would walk and get beat up and dogs sicked on them and they turn on fire hydrant water and you know they would just do all types of things because Martin Luther King he believed in being nonviolent. He believed in like peace. That's right, brother. He believed in peace. You can hit me upside the head and I'm gonna just take it. I'm not gonna fight back. And by me not fighting back, maybe you'll look at me and say, you know what? You're a great human being. You're an exceptional Negro. You say that again, brother. You says what? Just slap them and spit on them. And spit on them. That's another thing. They call them sit-ins where black people wanted to go into those restaurants. And I say this like all the time. Like we thought that the grass was greener on the other side. So black people had businesses. They had restaurants. They had libraries and drug stores and bus lines. But we thought that integrating would have been better because we said, I want all white pies only, right? I know my grandma makes some good sweet potato pie, but I wonder what them all white pies taste like. I wonder if those is a little bit better. You know, that building, it look a little better than Bobby Ray's barbecue restaurant. I want to try what they got in there. Maybe it's a little better. And that's what we did. We used to go inside the restaurants, sit there. They call them sit-ins. Sit there while white people stare at you, call you all types of niggas, and come and pour ketchup and mustard on your head, and you just sit there. Like, I'm not going nowhere. I'm going to sit here until you allow me to eat at this restaurant. That's how messed up we were, and that's what our black leaders had us doing. They had us doing sit-ins. They had us marching quietly, getting the hell beat out of us, and hoping one day our oppressor, who was the white man, would someday turn around and say, you know what? You guys are human beings. You guys are, you are decent people after they beat the hell out of you. After you sat there and didn't defend yourself. But another thing, why would you want to even go in there? Like even today, there's videos that come out where people that work in the restaurant industry, pick up food off the ground and put it on people's plate, spit in food, do all kind of things to people's food. Now imagine back then when they didn't want to serve you, what they was doing to your hamburger, what they was doing to your soup. Imagine what they was doing. People do some messed up things today. Now imagine during the time when they was openly saying, nah, nigga, I don't want you to eat here. You know what I mean? And that mindset destroyed us. And today, black people, we think nothing of it. We're kind of happy that we think that it was progress. The civil rights movement was progress. Like, yeah, we did. That was a good job. MLK did a good job. Well, we're going to find out in the scriptures that Martin Luther King Jr. did not do a good job. Right. So if you could, brother, you got one? Nah, the King, I might have to help you. if you could get for me, let me see real quick. Let me see. Get Deuteronomy 23 and 6. Deuteronomy 23 and 6. Get that. Let me cue up this video with Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King said that the dream was actually was a nightmare. After he did that speech, a lot of people don't know that speech was plagiarized. That speech, a lot of parts of his speech, I Have a Dream, actually came from another man's speech, another pastor, whose name was Archibald Carey. It's a lot of things that was messed up with that whole situation. You want to look like in the front, like somewhere in the front. So the Deuteronomy will be what that'll be. You got Genesis. So yeah, Deuteronomy 23 and 6.
Thou shalt not seek their peace nor their prosperity all their days ever.
Skip up to maybe it's 5.
Nevertheless, the Lord thy God would not hearken unto who? Belial.
Hold on one second.
The Lord thy God turned the curse into a blessing unto thee, because the Lord thy God loved thee.
Okay, keep going.
Number 6. Thou shalt not seek their peace nor their prosperity all thy days ever.
Perfect. So this is the thing. The Lord didn't want us to seek the peace of other nations, of other people, or their prosperity. So what the civil rights movement was us trying to seek their peace when we had our thing going on. Now, when you look at history coming out of slavery, Black people built towns within 11 years of being out of slavery, and Black people had towns like Rosewood and like everybody knows a famous one, Black Wall Street. You had Slocum, Texas. You had Allenworth, California. You had a lot of towns, like hundreds of towns that Black people built, and they were on their own and they were prosperous. They wasn't seeking the peace of white Americans. They wasn't seeking the peace of their oppressor. They wasn't seeking the prosperity of their oppressor. They was leaning on each other, right? There was a time when we knew who the devil was. We knew that they didn't like us, so we had to lean on one another. And that's why when you look at our history right now, we're worse than when we were when we first got out of slavery. Because when we first got out of slavery, we knew one thing. We knew that they was a devil and we had to stick together. We was forced to stick together. Now, after civil rights movement, every Black person is an individual. Nobody thinks about their people. Everybody is about me, self. Well, I got the bag and I'm living this life. While that ain't my fault. It ain't my fault that they can't do. They didn't go to school. It ain't my fault that they don't got the job that I got. It ain't my fault. We think about self now, when before we didn't think about self. We thought about us as a people, as a group, and we knew what time it was. We knew where we stood. But when MLK came on the scene, what he was doing was exactly this scripture, which is we were seeking their prosperity and their peace. And we all know that every time we built something, they would burn that city down. They get jealous, get upset, but we still wanted to make peace with them, right? We still wanted them to accept us. Please accept me. That's what civil rights movement was. Us begging for acceptance. Us saying, please look at me as a human being. Could you just look at me like I'm a person? Like I just want to live my life. I want to live like you. I want to be able to have a good job, take care of my family, mind my business, and be like you, right? And that's the thing the Lord was against. The Lord always said, when we live around these other nations, don't try to be like them. We just read it in Deuteronomy 23 and 6. Don't try to seek their peace. Don't try to seek their prosperity. Now, I want to be clear. When it comes to us in America or anywhere, I am not saying that we can't do business with other people, because everybody else does business with each other. But the difference between, like, say, Asians and East Indians is that they do business within the Black community, or they do business with white America. But after they do that business, they go back to their culture, to their people. They don't really care about what's going on in America. Asians, Arabs, you don't see them trying to be in politics. You don't see them trying to do none of that. They just here to do business, make money, take care of their family, probably send some money back home, and that's it. They don't even give a damn about really what's going on in America. They might watch sports or something like that, but at the end of the day, the point what I'm making is that we don't understand as Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian people that we could actually be separated from America while being in America like everybody else does right in our face. We just don't see it. We don't see that Asian people, you know, they shut up their shops, they take care of their people, they live in their part of the town. Everybody lives in a part of the town. But when it comes to business, everybody mixes. When it comes to work, everybody mixes. And when it comes to school, everybody mixes. And that's what confuses us. We think that, oh, we believe in American dream and diversity. And, oh, yeah, we got to love everybody. We love everybody to a fault. Because when you look at it, don't nobody give a damn about us. But Black people are the most open and accepting people. We are the most accepting people to all races. If anybody ever noticed that, we accept all races, especially if they can do a little Black dance or something, a little Black TikTok, something like that. People are like, oh yeah, he's invited to the barbecue. Yeah, that he one of us. Like we accept other races wholeheartedly when other races don't accept us like that, right? Give me Jeremiah 2:33. Jeremiah 2:33. Chapter 2, verse 33.
Why trimmest thou way? Why thou they? Why trimmest thou they way to seek love?
Why? Slow it down and read it from the top.
Why trimmest thou thy way to seek love?
Yeah. Just slow it down. So is it when it gets to love, is it broken up?
Yes.
Okay, so stop right there. So read it from the top.
Why trimmest thou thy way to seek love?
Why do you trimish your way to seek love? And what that means is that exactly what is it saying is the same thing you saw with MLK in the civil rights movement. We trimmed our ways to seek love. And listen, I'm not going to act like MLK had all the power, because he didn't have all the power, because there were other reverends and pastors that was against MLK. They was like, we ain't boys. We ain't finna go beg these people to accept us. But the United States government got behind MLK's message, right? They got behind it later, but he was there for a purpose. MLK didn't come about by accident. He trimmed his ways. He talked a certain way. He was nonviolent. He did all of these things to seek love. He was nonviolent, non-confrontational. He believed in peaceful protest, right? He fought for the people that were supposed to be oppressed, right? And so he trimmed his way. He trimmed his ways in a way that maybe white America would accept him, and to seek that love and to bring Black people in there and say, listen, we're trying to integrate with y'all, and we're good people. We're Christian people. I'm a reverend, you know what I mean? And my message is that we're not violent. we're harmful, we're docile. You can listen, look, you can sick dogs on us and we won't get upset. You can push us over on the ground and we won't get it. You can put us in jail for just, asking for justice and we're not going to get upset. He trimmed his ways to seek love of white America. The Bible says, why you doing that? Let me get a scripture for you. I'm going to read this. This is Jeremiah 2:14. So like I didn't know it was. No, this is not. Yeah, it is. Jeremiah, the book of Jeremiah 2:14. Is Israel a servant? With a question mark. Are we servants? Is he a homeborn slave? With a question mark. Are we homeborn slaves? Why is he spoiled? With a question mark. So you see this example time and time again where black people say things or do things where you be like, damn, nigga, are you a slave? You don't see how they doing this and you still want to grovel and go and please, can you let us get in? Can you give us some services? Can you help us out? Like, can we be a part of what you got going on? It's kind of like being in a in school, middle school. You in middle school, high school? Oh, okay. Damn. This you look like you're in high school. You're in the 6th grade. But this is the thing though. Well, you probably understand this, and all of us understand this. Like you have cliques and stuff like that in school. And it's almost like you're going to these people that don't want you to be a part of their crew or they clique or whatever, and you begging to be accepted. And can I get in? And you're like, what I gotta do? Okay, I put on a suit. I put on a suit. I'll become a reverend. I'll put Reverend in front of my name. The Reverend Samuel Jenkins. Like I'm equating it and giving you an analogy of how you have to be, how you have to trim your ways, and how you become a homeborn slave where you gotta beg and you gotta play a part, right? And we that's what we do in America. We play a part. Like we are a homeborn slave. Why are we spoiled? Meaning, why are we destroyed? Why are we to be spoiled? Just like think about it, just like some meat. You got some chicken, you got some steak, and you go to eat that steak, and you find out it's been sitting too long. You can't cook it. It smells bad. It's spoiled. You can't use it. It's good for nothing. That's God's chosen people. That's what the Bible is saying. Are you a servant? Are you a slave? Why are you spoiled? Why have you become good for nothing? Why have you lost all your value? You're supposed to be the best people on the planet. You're supposed to be the people that other nations look at and they want to be like you, not the other way around. Not you walking and asking to be accepted of them. They should be coming to you for guidance and asking for your acceptance. But that's what the civil rights movement and all our black leaders have done. They have turned us to homeborn slaves. So let me see what other precept I want to get. I'm gonna go into, so when it comes to Martin Luther King, right? Martin Luther King's the person that he looked up to was Mahatma Gandhi. So a lot of people look at Martin Luther King like he's a reverend, he's a Christian, he was a reverend, but his hero was an East Indian, right? And we're going to get into it. But I'm going to show you something about who he looked up to. Let me see. So this was Martin Luther King's hero right here. Gandhi. Gandhi was his hero because Gandhi was non-violent and he freed the Indian people from the British, and he believed in being non-violent, and Martin Luther King looked up to him. In fact, he went and visited him. Well, not visited him. He went to the house that Gandhi used to live in just to see it. That's how much he revered Gandhi, right? And so let me get the article. I got an article here. I think I'm gonna screen share it. Let me screen share this article. And I'm going to read some of this article. is Gandhi is deeply revered, but his attitudes on race and sex are under scrutiny. So just bear with me. I'm gonna read a little bit. When Martin Luther Jr. visited the villa in Mumbai, India, where Mohandas Gandhi stayed in the 1920s, he had a special request. He wanted to spend the night in Gandhi's bedroom. That sound weird off the top. You know what I mean? Off the top. That don't sound right. Let me go back here and make sure that okay, they don't see it. He wanted to sleep in another man's. Let's see. There we go. I'm just What about now? Audio, output, input. What about now? Are we good? Okay, I see it one. Most High in Christ. So now Gandhi, let me get back to this. So Gandhi, he thought that white people were more civilized. And if you didn't hear earlier, for the people that I guess the sound went out. Gandhi, I'm gonna start it over. Gandhi was a racist. Last year, a Gandhi statue was removed from the university campus of Ghana. Activists there and in Malawi are using the hashtag Gandhi must fall. They're angry about his early writings. In 1903, when Gandhi was in South Africa, he wrote that white people there should be the predominating race. Now, this is something that Martin Luther King believed also. Martin Luther King believed that he should, integrate with white people, and that he wanted to be a part of what they had. So he thought that they were the predominating race because Gandhi was his hero. Gandhi also said that black people are troublesome, very dirty, and live like animals. There's no way around it. Gandhi was a racist early in his life, says his biographer. Gandhi, as a young man, went with the ideas of the culture of his time. He thought in his 20s that Europeans are the most civilized. So he thought Europeans was the most civilized and that black people were at a lower caste system. They were at the bottom, right? Indians were almost as civilized. So he thought Europeans were the most civilized. Indians were almost as civilized, and Africans were uncivilized. So remember, when he's in South Africa, he's looking at Africans, but we know that they all look at all black people as the same. So he thought that black people was at the bottom, right? It says, however, his racism quite decisively, and for most of his life as a public figure, he was a racist, talking for an end to discrimination of all kinds. That included gender discrimination. Gandhi championed women in politics, but he was all obsessed with his own celibacy. In his late 70s, before he died at 78, he slept naked with his grandniece. Now, this is the man that Martin Luther King was following. This is the man that was a sexual deviant. So he slept naked with his grandniece when she was in her late teens. He said he wanted to test his willpower to abstain from sex. So why not just not sleep, get in the bed naked with your grandniece? What? Gandhi, I don't think Gandhi had a wife. I don't think he had a wife, but this is the man that MLK followed. This is the man that, now you're starting to see why MLK had a lot of things. There's a lot of things that's going to come out. Now, the United States, go ahead.
Who is MLK?
Martin Luther King.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just saying it for short. So this is, many people have already heard this, that they have files on Martin Luther King where he was having orgies with white women and, doing all types of vile things that will destroy his legacy if it comes out. So we're going to get to that, but seeing where these things are coming from. He was a Christian pastor. Then he turned to follow Gandhi and Gandhi's ways. And he revered Gandhi. He said when he went to go visit Gandhi's house, that was a museum. He said he felt vibrations. He wanted to stay in there, and then he got a bed and a cot and got him and his wife to lay down and go to sleep next to Gandhi's bed. You understand? That is the man that black people following, and black people can't see that he has led them wrong. And out of his own words, he said it himself. Let me see. Let me make sure. Let me test back. Go back to the thing. Make sure we good. We good on sound, right? I think we to Wob. No one else is saying anything. Let me go back. So let me get some more. So yeah, I'm gonna stop right there.
So the king was a freak.
You say that again?
So he was a freak, basically.
Gandhi, or well, yeah. Well. If a man follows, what a man follows is that what he's gonna become. So MLK was following Gandhi, and we see that Gandhi was a sexual deviant. It also shows you that this is part of their culture. Why are you sleeping with your grandniece? Why are you sleeping with, you know what I mean? Is this part of their culture? You know what I mean? And why not just, if you want to abstain and show that you got enough strength to abstain from having sex, why not just not sleep in the bed with your grandniece? That shows that you are, trying to do something. Salakia, hey brother, when you say something, just raise your hand so I know. All right. So what'd you say?
I mean, he was trying to do something.
I mean, why would you get naked in the bed with a young teenage girl? Not only that's borderline pedophilia, right? It said in her late teens. Now, I'm going to go to another story. Now, this is the brother I'm gonna bring out. This is the brother that the family got, because like the government, the FBI has tapes and video on MLK saying some things that don't nobody want to come out, doing some things, some sexual deviant things that no one wants to come out. So they got this brother in order to stop him. So let me bring this out. Let me get this right here. Now, this brother is Senator Stephen Bradford. He represents the 35th district. This is in Los Angeles. And this article is protecting Martin Luther King Jr. So I'm going to, let me share this, screen share real quick. Go here. Why the sound is not working? Avon, let me know if the sound is on. I don't know if it's his microphone or if we just having technical difficulties. But Salak it to the brothers and sisters. No sound, no sound, no sound. 250. All right, the water. So let me see where we at. Let me see. I'm about to what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back over this real quick for you. So these are the files. It seemed like y'all might have missed where I just went over the files of MLK. Let me go back to the files real quick. Share this. Log it. These are the files on MLK. All right. So the troubling legacy of Martin Luther King Jr. Newly revealed FBI documents portray the great civil rights leader as a sexual libertine who laughed as a forcible rape took place. I'm gonna read the first paragraph, right? It says, newly released documents reveal the full extent of the FBI surveillance of the civil rights leader, Dr. Martin Luther King, in the mid-1960s. They expose in graphic detail the FBI's intense focus on King's extensive extramarital sexual relationships with dozens of women, and also his presence in a Washington hotel room when a friend, a Baptist minister, allegedly raped one of his parishioners while King looked on, laughed, and offered advice. The FBI's tape recording of the criminal assault still exists today, resting under the court seal and a National Archives vault. The FBI documents also reveal how its director, J. Edgar Hoover, authorized top bureau officials to send Dr. King a tape recording of his sexual activities, along with an anonymous message encouraging him to take his own life. The complete transcripts and surviving recordings are not due to be released until 2027, but when they are made fully available, a painful historical reckoning concerning King's personal conduct seems inevitable, meaning Black people are going to be hurt and their life is going to be in shambles because they are going to find out that the man that they had looked at as a hero, it was a sexual deviant, and he committed sexual crimes, and he was not faithful to Coretta Scott King, and this thing is going to mess up his legacy. That's why I brought it out earlier about the brother that is trying to stop it. The senator for the District 35, not the senator, he's not a senator. Yeah, Senator Stephen Bradford for District 35 in Los Angeles is trying to stop it because when this comes out, it's going to shake the whole idea of what MLK was in his whole movement. Now, I just showed you where he got it from. He got it from following Mahatma Gandhi, a man that was a sexual deviant himself, right? And so this is where it really comes from. And you see that MLK really didn't follow Christ. Martin Luther King was supposed to have been a reverend. He was supposed to have been a reverend, you know. He didn't follow Christ. But is that a surprise? Is it a surprise? It's not a surprise because we see what happens with Christian pastors all the time. They molest children. They sleep with other men's wives. They do sexual deviant things. There's just a story out where some pastor was paying young boys to ejaculate in his mouth. So they are, so Christianity produces sexual deviance. Go ahead, young man. So like it, you said, what does that mean? It's something that they shouldn't be doing. It's something they should be, the little boys shouldn't be doing with grown men. You understand? And this thing happens in the Catholic Church, it happens in the Christian church, and this is a trait of people who claim to follow God and claim to love God, but they really don't. They really just fulfilling their own personal lusts. You understand? I'll give you that much. I'm not gonna break it down all the way for you, but I'll give you that much. So what we see here is that it's not surprising that MLK would do these things, but because the United States government endorses his message of nonviolence, this is why they use him in that "I have a dream" speech. They've been using that forever. We all know it like the back of our hands, and that's how they want us to think. They want us to be, nonviolent. They want us to be, somebody that doesn't really try to go against the grain, doesn't really say too much. Yeah, we get upset sometimes. Black men get killed by the police. We protest and we go back to what we was doing. And so I started the class out with talking about Black History Month and how you don't see them push Malcolm X. You don't see them push Nat Turner, Toussaint Overture, Marcus Garvey, brothers that said, you know what, I want to separate. I want to try something different. Or no, they the devil. They are the devil, right? You definitely know they ain't going to endorse no Israelites. They ain't going to endorse us because we radical as hell. We too radical for them to say, yeah, Black History Month, the Hebrew Israelite. That's never going to happen, right? We'll never be, in Black History Month, right? But yeah, the thing is, man, that I want to get the soundbite where he said the dream has become. I'll just say it. So in 1967, MLK was interviewed, and he said that the dream became a nightmare. The dream that, matter of fact, I think I can cue it up. Let me see. I think I got it. Move that. The dream became a nightmare. And they show you, I have a dream. They show you that every day, all day. They never show you what he also said. They never bring that up. Let me see. Dreams around. I don't get this one. Let's see. And the world. Some okay. Let me see.
I have a dream. My 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
Your grandmother probably got a picture of
I have a dream today.
Your grandmother probably got a picture of MLK, a different people.
I must confess that that dream that I had that day has at many points turned into a nightmare. I must confess that that dream that I had that day has at many points turned into a nightmare.
Like it, hold on. MLK is quoted as
that dream.
Then on the day of his famous I Have a Dream speech on the Lincoln Memorial.
I have a dream today.
I must confess that that dream that I had that day has at many points turned into a nightmare.
So MLK, he started to realize that the dream was not reality, that it wasn't going to happen, and it was a nightmare. And this is the thing that they don't play every year. They don't tell people, nah, he changed his mind a couple years later. He changed his mind on all that dream stuff, right? Let me get this real quick. Let me make sure. No more ones. I'm good. So lock it. Oh no, that was back then. I'm still good. I got 4 people in here. Look like. So I assume the sound is still to wild. Go ahead, sis.
So once he began to change his mind, and at that moment he really that he looked up to so much, began to realize that at that point, is that why they killed him?
MLK, because the Lord didn't want for us to come together with our oppressor. Now MLK had a purpose. He had the purpose that he had. He served the purpose that he had. At one point in time, the United States government endorsed his message, right? But then they got rid of him. Now, when it comes to whether or not, for what reason they got rid of him, I don't know, because there was a lot of things that they believed. So they was recording MLK because they thought that he was a communist or a Marxist, which he believed in a whole different type of government, right? And they have pictures of him being in communist meetings with Russians and stuff. So they was looking at him from a espionage or spy type of thing. That's why they even started to bug his rooms and all of that. When bugging his rooms, so they was bugging his rooms for one reason. Then it came out that while bugging his rooms, he was doing some freaky stuff in them rooms. You know what I'm saying? So they like, oh, this is good, but we're not gonna bring it out now. And that's kind of like how it is. Like when it comes to us, like that's why I said we have to be very. If you're in that world, you're gonna have to be somebody that walk and talk and do everything that you say, and you can't be a sexual deviant or do anything that's out of the ordinary, because they always watching you. And as a black person, they're gonna bring it out. They're gonna hold it over your head later on in your career. They're gonna hold it like, look, oh, y'all thought he was this is what he is. This is what he really is. You know what I'm saying? They've done it with every black person that was in the limelight, from celebrities to politics. Nobody escapes them pulling out some dirt on you. And that's because we don't have the law, statute, of commandments. Nobody can, like I said, can fight the temptations and those things that they see in that world, especially when you coming from the hood, you coming from, poverty, and you get a lot of money and you're around all these people and you got groupies and fans. And, nowadays they got Instagram. Brothers I know those brothers in that play sports be flying out all these different women. You know what I mean? To have sex with them. And like you got to be a solid individual not to have done anything. Now, I'm not saying Brothers like, like LeBron James, or, brothers with squeaky clean images have done something, but it has yet to be proven that some brother had he lived his life, had a great life, had a good image, and he passed away, and you never heard nothing about him. It has yet to be shown to me in my life. I ain't seen it. It seemed like everybody goes through this, but what we were talking about when they bring those files out in 2027, black people are gonna be hot. They're gonna be hot just like they was hot when they brought out the truth on R. Kelly. Black people was upset, and that's what we do. We get upset at the truth of the people, at the celebrities and the leaders that we follow and we look up to. But it's the truth, though, right? When you look at pastors, when pastors are accused of doing something, and it comes out to be true, those people that go to that church, they still follow the pastor. Y'all don't know if y'all never even seen that, but they will still be going to that church. Oh, not my pastor. Not Pastor Jenkins. I know she said that, but yeah, he's a good man. He married me and my son and my daughter. He was a presiding pastor at my grandma's funeral. Like, we have so much affection and love for the people we look up to that, of course, it's gonna make you angry. And so, like in the scriptures, I was gonna bring it out in Mark that Israel, when they killed Christ, they gave up Christ for a murderer. They wanted a murderer free, Barabbas, right? They wanted him free in order for Christ's life. So we're willing to suffer the people we look up to being criminals, sexual deviants, whatever, right? Just so that we can still look up to them. And Martin Luther King will be no different. When that truth comes out in 2027, black people are going to be angry, and they're going to say, "Oh no, they just doing this just to mess up his legacy. They doing it But I didn't read it. But even the brother that's trying to protect him said, "Yeah, it did happen." His stance is like, he's not saying it didn't happen. He's saying, why y'all don't got the right to try to tear down Martin Luther King's legacy, meaning the government. You don't have the right to try to, all the things he's done for black people, the nonviolent protests. When you think about this century, he's probably the biggest, black man. I mean, not this century, last century. He's probably the biggest man that you can think of that did something big like this, other than Abraham Lincoln. He's like trying to make Martin Luther King be so big, but he's not denying that they got these tapes and that stuff is on there. He's more like, why are you invading why was you invading his privacy? Why was you bugging the room? But we're going to have to accept the fact that that dream was a lie, and that our leaders, whether they be celebrities, whether they be politicians, they don't have the answers to fix black people, right? They don't have the strength, what it takes to fix black people. They don't even have the strength to not do the things that people do in the world, right? And he's supposed to have been a reverend. So if I could, let me see. Jeremiah 23:5. I have heard what the prophet said that prophesied lies in my name, saying, I have dreamed. I have dreamed. Now that's right on. This is the Bible. Look, this is not my words. This is God's words. He's talking about prophets that would come and say, I have a dream. I have a dream. You know what I'm saying? He's talking about prophets that would say, I had this idea. I got this idea. This is what we should do. No different. This is MLK 2,000 years later. I have a dream. And he's the biggest thing that God's people can identify with as far as his movement getting worldwide attention and having a big legacy. But you're going to find out that he was just an average brother. He did average things. He desired and slept with white women. He was in a room where a woman was getting sexually assaulted, and you're going to be cut. Your heart is going to be cut to shreds when you find out the truth about your hero, right? Let me see what else I want. Matthew 15:8. This people draw nigh unto me with their mouth and honor me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. That was Martin Luther King. He was a reverend. He was supposed to have been following God. He was supposed to have been doing the work of the Most High. He was, nonviolent, and he was, a man that a lot of people followed and thought that he was a man of God. And in the way he moved, the way he talked, but his heart was far from the Most High. His heart, what he followed was Gandhi. That's who he followed. You know what I'm saying? He followed a man, East Indian man, who had a whole nother way of living in life, and was also a sexual deviant that wanted to, in his elder years, wanted to sleep naked with his grandniece. That was his hero, not Jesus Christ. That wasn't Martin Luther King's hero, right? Also, Martin Luther King said towards the end of his life, he said, "I fear that I have integrated my people into a burning house." That was his words, right? So if you're going to like for the analogy, you're not going to take your family to a burning house. You're trying to save your family from a burning house. You're running from the burning house. He said, "I fear I have put them integrated," meaning integration, meaning want to be a part of what they got going. I've integrated them into something that is going to destroy them, right? And he said all of these things after the "I have a dream," but we never hear that. We never hear none of the things that he said, none of the sound bites. You gotta search them out. You gotta find them on your own, because what they do is keep the lie alive that just keep hoping one day they might look at you. One day there'll be a day when white people will look at you and be like, "He's not a drug dealer. I want to get to know him. I want to walk and see the content of his character. I want to know what he's like. I want to have a conversation with him." And now we're 50 years later, and that has not happened. It has not happened. They still look at you like, those is niggas over there. They gonna content of the character. I'm looking at the content of what he got in his hand. He finna hit me aside of here to take my car. That's how they look at you. They get on the other side of the road. Let me see. I'm gonna end with Hosea 4:6. Right? Hosea 4:6. Go ahead, sis.
One more question. Okay, you know how the whites, back to their ancestors, they were wicked. Do you feel like, is that why they try to dig up so much wickedness upon us black people, because of what they have done to us? So they try to make us look just as bad as them?
Wait. So again, you saying some good stuff right there. So ask me that question again. So I had to do this.
Okay. Let me rephrase it. That way. You know how back in the days, these white ancestors, they have done so much wickedness to us, and it can no longer be buried. It's never have been buried.
Right.
So now that us blacks, they tend to want to dig up all this negative entities against us.
Yeah.
Because they're so deep up in it, so they want to make us look just as bad.
Yeah. What you saying?
Even though they created this evilness.
Yeah, I agree with that. What you're saying is like they have a guilty conscience, right? Yeah. So what the sister was saying, like, because of all the evil that they have done in history, and that they can't get rid of it, it can't be hidden. That what they do is they try to put that on us and make no good and violent and all of that. And I also would say that I feel that when it comes to white society, deep down in the back of their head, they have a feeling that one day black, particularly black people, Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian people will one day rise up against them and get revenge for the things they have done in the past, because they know deep down inside these was horrible, horrible things, and it's never been done before, and they never had to pay for it. They never had to go before a judge. They never had to apologize. And when it comes to anybody else, things that are a lot way smaller, people get revenge. So I agree with that yeah, I do feel as though they have a guilty conscience, and they are, it makes them feel better to say these niggas is doing this. Black on black gun violence, like just make us out to be the problem. They're on welfare. They're draining the society. They're doing this. If you know about CRT, critical race theory, where they talk about the history, but they don't want it to be talked about in the schools to white children. Like they don't even want to remember. They don't want their kids to remember what their ancestors did to black people. They want to erase that, and make it seem as though America is this great place, when you can't erase all of the blood, all of the bloodshed that has happened to Native American Indians, that's happened to black people. You can't erase that, and God won't let that, won't allow that to happen. So I'm gonna wrap it up with this. What the brother said, he said Christianity makes you soft. You're right, Matabar. Was good, Christianity makes you soft. It makes you weak, right? And a lot of black men grew up Christian. They grew up, up under a woman. The whole Christian church is set up to cater to women. It's a big show for women. All the singing, the dancing, the food, the hooping and hollering, the falling out, the drama, all of that is catered to a woman inside of a church on Sunday. No real strong man is going to be up in there. Brothers be up in there, but they don't want to be there. You know what I mean? It doesn't produce, solid brothers. It doesn't produce strong men. What it does produce is drug addicts, drug heads, criminals, thieves, drug dealers, molesters, rapists, everybody that ever done anything in their life. When you get them into prison and you interrogate them, you ask them their religion, they was a goddamn Christian. So at some point they grew up a Christian. At some point they believe in Jesus, white Jesus, right? But that didn't fix them. That didn't make them that didn't make them be just, that didn't make them not do drugs. That didn't make them not put down a gun. That did not make them not make bad decisions that they see everybody else do in the world. So most black people are Christians, and if you're not Christian, you probably was a Muslim. But even Muslims, the Muslims I knew coming up, sold drugs, sold weed out the house. They had a gang. You know what I'm saying? The brother had 4 wives, but damn, they were selling blunts and blunts and weed out the house. So even in Islam, I see it was just like Christianity, because it don't fix you, it don't change you, it don't make you live a different life. You know what I'm saying? In the black community. So what the hell are you doing? You just in another form of Christianity, because really all religions is really just Christianity nowadays. So, and what I mean by that, Christianity, you could be anything. You can be a Christian Asian. You can be an Arab that wants to follow Jesus, right? In the Christian way. That's the same with all of the other religions. You can join them as a black person, and you can become a Buddhist. You can become a Muslim, and go to Mecca and bow, pull out the little carpet and bow 3 times and all that. Pray. No, you can do all of these, and they're all Christianity, right? But the truth is something that actually changes you, and the truth of the Bible has never actually been executed here in America until now, until under the ISUPK, where the truth came out and how to actually really live the Bible. Like Christianity done had it for 400 years, and you look at our communities and they destroyed, they messed up, right? But there's a church everywhere. We go right out here, I'm sure there's a church on the next corner. There's a church everywhere. I'm sure it is. You know what I mean? But these are supposed to be the leaders and the shepherds of Israel, but they're not leading and shepherding anything. They're not teaching anybody anything. They're not making strong families. You go in that Christian church, it's filled with damn near single women. You understand? That's why I said it caters to women. But I'm gonna finish with this. So when it comes to Hosea 4:6, And this basically sums up everything, right? Now, black people is going to be upset, but Hosea 4:6, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. So when you look at us, we're destroyed for a lack of knowledge. We're destroyed for the things that we don't know. We're destroyed for the things we haven't been taught. We're destroyed for the lifestyle that we live, the emotions that we have towards one another, the hate that we have towards one another. We're also destroyed for the things that we eat. We're destroyed for a lack of knowledge. We haven't been taught in the Christian church. Our grandma didn't teach us a damn thing. Our grandfather didn't teach us nothing. Our mama, our father, nobody had the answers to tell us what we should be doing as far as being right with God, being right with the Most High. We're destroyed because we simply don't know, right? We are destroyed for a lack of knowledge because thou has rejected knowledge, and because we reject knowledge, because black people will reject this knowledge. They will reject the fact that we're just telling you what it is, and they'll say, "No, nigga, you in that damn cult. Martin Luther King was the greatest thing that ever happened to black people," and they'll reject the truth about MLK, and they'll say, "You know what? No, he was a great man." And let me just say, I'm not actually. MLK was an Israelite, right? Martin Luther King was an Israelite, just like any other brother in the Christian church is an Israelite. I don't hate brothers because they, I don't want people to think that we hate Martin Luther King. His philosophy was off, and his philosophy destroyed our people. His philosophy, he was a traitor to black people by trying to get us to join our oppressor, and halfway being successful with us believing like this was the best thing to do. So I don't want people to think that we hate MLK. I don't hate MLK like I don't hate any other brother, a brother that's a Muslim, a brother that's some philosophy that he don't know what the hell he's talking about. He's still my brother at the end of the day. But the philosophy that he taught, the things that he said, and the things that he did not match. And even the things that he say show that what we are saying is the truth, because he said, I feel like I integrated my people into a burning house. Well, 50 years later, we can see that that was a mistake. 50 years later, we see black man, young, a 13-year-old boy just got shot like by a white man. I don't know what, I can't remember the state, but a white man shot a 13-year-old boy in the back, hopped in his car, left. They arrested him, but then they let him go because he claimed self-defense. I think it might have been Ohio. But 50 years later, black men getting killed by the police. The brother Keenan Anderson just got killed. He was a school teacher, killed by the LAPD, got tased, and he died 4 hours later. That was like a week ago. Like this is the results of integration. This is the results of coming together with a people that didn't want you to come together with them. 50 years later, you still don't got civil rights. 50 years later, the civil rights movement didn't get what it was trying to get, right? You didn't get the civil rights because you get shot down and killed like a dog by law enforcement, by white police officers. So we see 50 years later, the dream has become Nightmare on Elm Street. So with that, I'm in the class. Clap it up.